What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is April the 23rd. It is a Thursday today. Overall markets, nice rally towards the upside, specifically on the QQQ. Nice break and retest above the key levels that we had. SMH, nice retest off our highs that we had as well. SPY lagging behind now, as you can see, but overall markets are heading higher, as I mentioned. There's a lot of nice setups that we'll take a look at. EMD was a nice one towards the upside yesterday. We had MU, we had AVGO all-time highs. Even coming into today, we have a couple all-time highs plays as well on a few names, which we'll talk about here in a second. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Let me pull up the economic calendar here as well. We did have some news in the overnight session, which we'll talk about. Good morning, B Roots. Good morning, Michael, Victor. Good morning, P1 Wisdom. Good morning, Cody, Maria, TW, Andy, Knight. Good morning, Mark, Lamet, Deuce, Josh, Chris, Maria, Robert. Good morning, Gerald. Can you also do a video regarding your PC build setup? Oh, that would be a neat video. It's just a basic. I forget what it is. I built it a couple of years ago myself. It's honestly overkill. Most of the times, you just kind of need a few charts and also just to have a PC that can run your broker. So you don't need anything crazy complex. What's up, Vate, Deuce? What's up, Ashley? The traders lab indicator. The traders lab indicator just basically marks out the key levels for you. So the opening ranges, previous day highs, previous day lows, weekly highs, weekly lows as well. You can do them manually. You can also use the indicator that we do have as well. Good morning. Thanks again for your info you share every day, especially on NQ. Right now, that's all I trade. Nice. All right. Let's get on to the economic calendar. Everything should be good here. So as you can see, we do have some news in the overnight session. Overall markets end up dropping yesterday, actually right back down in towards that retest level on the higher time frames. And then you can see nice bounce actually right off our previous all-time high. So as you can see here for the Qs, this is our high that we created last week. 650, nice retest on 650 coming to market open here. NQ, similar thesis here. As you can see, perfect retest. Yesterday, we ended up dropping back down in towards this level here in the after hours. And I can see coming to market open, nice retest right off that level. And we're continuing back towards the upside. But coming to market open, as you can see, we do have some red folder news. As I mentioned, the Strait of Hormuz remains firmly closed. The news now went from the ongoing war news to now it's just if the Hormuz is going to be open or closing or not. So as you can see, overall markets, every single time we have some sort of bearish news event in this case, where you can see the market does have an initial reaction lower, immediately bought up, and we continue higher. So similar thing. Right now you can see we have some news that drops the market, but immediately bought up, coming back down in towards key levels, and the markets are now rallying right back up and towards our previous day highs, all-time highs, and continuation. So that's what we have for the news that we had in the overnight session. At least for today, we do have some more news. Unemployment, we'll see how this affects the market. Forecasted to 11. We'll talk about that a little bit in about 20 minutes here. We also do have the flash services PMI. That's going to be at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow, we do have the revised consumer sentiment, which is going to happen at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is what we have for the economic calendar. Now let's pull up the earnings as well. We just recently had Tesla earnings, which Tesla was up about 3% in the pre-market, and we ended up dropping 3%. So we'll talk about Tesla earnings here in a second. We also do have Intel earnings, which is tonight, which is going to be fairly important. We do have another bunch of earnings, right? We had ServiceNow, that one ended up dropping. So we'll talk about a couple of these earnings here, but the main one today is going to be Intel, and of course now Tesla after its earnings. We'll see if there's any after earnings plays on this one. All right, now let's hop straight into the charts before we have unemployment in about 20 minutes. Let me just get rid of that. And let's go on to the QQQ, or sorry, we'll go on to the SPY chart first, and then we'll head on to the Q. So number one, let's go on to the daily chart here for the SPY. Or let's start off on the weekly time frame. Right, looking at this on a weekly time frame perspective, bullish above our previous all-time highs. Daily time frame, bullish above our previous all-time highs here as well. Also filled the very minor gap that we had. As you can see, we end up gapping up. We came down, filled the gap, and now you can see buyers are stepping in off this gap level. If we're looking at this on an hourly time frame perspective, higher lows are very much well being built. And now you can see we have some sort of flat top forming here on the SPY chart. So you can see number one, the QQQ is a lot more bullish, break and retest above our last week's highs compared to the SPY chart, which in this case is actually still rejecting off this key level of resistance. You can see the Tuesday's price action rejection yesterday came back up and towards this level rejection again, but higher lows, as you can see, are being built here on the hourly time frame. What we would like to see, if we do want to see continuation here on SPY above our 712, hold above that 712 for continuation higher, right? This is going to be that higher low here on the hourly time frame that we do have on SPY coming into market open, at least for the exact levels that I do have marked out, 712. So you can see multiple touches here. We have our 712 marked out. Other levels that we have marked out is our 706, which you can see some buyers stepped in here. Other levels that we do have here is our 710. Which is not as important as a level, but this is something to keep an eye out for here as well. So for this SPY coming to market open above our previous day highs, hold above our previous day highs, we can see some continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario in this case is going to be the bounce play here off that 710. Hold above that 710, we can see this push back up and towards our 713 and above. So this is what we have on the SPY coming into market open. We could see some downside potentially, right? This week we had a little bit more consolidation specifically on the SPY. Qs is leading the markets towards upside, which is a good sign for tech. And of course, the SMH is very bullish here as well. But as for the SPY in specific, this one has rejected off this level a couple times. I do like this flat top break. So we have one touch here, another touch yesterday. Now this is going to be key, as I mentioned, if we can break above, continuation towards the upside. Can it reject once again? It could reject once again, and we can see a little bit of a mean reversion, but I am leaning, of course, more towards the upside just based off the weekly, the daily, and the hourly time frame here. So for SPY, main game plan coming to market open above 712, continuation towards the upside. Let's go on to the ES chart. So ES chart, very similar thesis here. As you can see, we do have multiple touches. Hourly time frame here, building up these higher lows on the hourly chart. Every single dip so far is being bought up. This is the gap down that we had on Sunday. Another bounce here. And as you can see, multiple wicks building up these higher lows on the ES. Now the key levels that we are going to have marked out is this flat top. If you do want to see some upside here above our 7180, hold above that level for this continuation towards the upside. So this is what we have for the ES coming into market open. The exact levels that I have marked out here is going to be the 7180. We can even readjust this down in towards that previous day highs here as well. A little bit of a bigger zone, but as you can see here for the ES, key levels that I have marked out is going to be the 7180. Key levels that we also have marked out here as well is going to be this 7160. So this is what we have for the ES chart coming into market open. Above our previous day highs, 7180, hold above that level for continuation. Another possible scenario is the bounce play here off this 7160. You could be looking for the bounce play here or the reclaim back above for continuation towards the upside. Regardless, right, as I mentioned, higher time frame is bullish, and we'll talk about the NQ along with the QQQ here, which is actually leading the markets higher. So starting off on the weekly time frame, as you can see above our previous all-time highs, bullish here on the weekly. The daily chart here, bullish as well above our previous all-time highs. Filled that daily gap that we had marked out, and we're continuing higher here as well. So as you can see, we had that small daily gap, filled it, multiple bounces here right off that daily gap, and now you can see above our previous day highs, continuation towards the upside. So if we're looking at it from a bar by bar perspective, right, we've talked about this for a while. Every single dip so far has been bought up, and if you're looking at this from a bar by bar perspective here on the daily chart, right? We have not shown weak price action whatsoever here on the Qs. We can technically just move it up. So until we break underneath our previous candle low, right, we are not going to be bearish whatsoever, right? Similar thing, whenever we have a daily chart that moves like this, the bias is fairly simple. We're just going to continue to look for upside. A good thing to note is something like CAR, right? You can see every single daily candle close was continuing towards the upside, and now this is a shift in momentum. Whenever we break underneath its previous candle low, that's when you can see a shift in momentum and we start seeing a bigger drop in the markets. Obviously, we're not going to have as big of a drop here on the Qs, but similar thing. We can just mark out every single daily candle low, and until we can break underneath it, right, we're not interested in shorts, because so far every single dip, or sorry, every single time we gravitate down in towards that previous day lows, it has been bottomed up and we've actually continued higher, right? Just based off the higher time frames, just based off the daily chart. So we can look at the bar by bar scenario here on the higher time frame. So the weekly's bullish, the daily's bullish. If we're looking at the hourly chart, we ended up having this nice retest, break above, another retest here, immediate retest, and I can see in the pre-market another retest offers 650, and we're continuing back towards the upside. So far you can see the trend is very much still intact here on the hourly time frame. As for the levels coming into market open here, what I'm personally going to have marked out here now is going to be that previous day highs, 655, along with the area that we broke out from yesterday, 650. If we do want to see upside coming into market open above our previous day highs, hold above that 650 for that continuation higher. Another possible scenario is if we consolidate, kind of reject off our previous day highs, reclaim later into the session, continuation towards the upside here is in play. So this is what we have for the Qs coming into market open here. If we do want to, let's say, reject here off that 655, you can see a little bit of a mean reversion back down in towards some of our this period of consolidation that we had yesterday, along with the ES. Let's say we do reject off that flat top, we could see a little bit of a pullback, but overall, right, longs are very much in play above our previous day highs. And if we're looking at this on an hourly time frame, it could even come all the way back down in towards that 650 and still maintain a bullish stance in the markets for a continued push higher here as well. All right, let's go on to the NQ chart. Very similar thesis here. NQ making a brand new all-time highs. Looking at this on a weekly perspective, daily chart bullish here as well, above our previous all-time highs, as you can see. If I was to just mark this out. Now here on the hourly time frame, the key levels that I do have marked out is, of course, our previous day highs, along with multiple touches that we had earlier into the week, along with last week here as well. So as you can see for the NQ, we're essentially just basing, right? Broke above, retest, continuation. And now we can expect the markets to make a brand new high here. So the levels that we do have marked out is, of course, going to be that 26,900. As you can see, multiple touches here in the pre-market. Other levels that we could have marked out now as well is going to be our previous day highs, and we can drag this over. So this is the key levels that we have on NQ coming into market open. If we do want to see longs are in play above our previous day highs, hold above our previous day highs for continuation. Another possible scenario here is going to be that bounce play here off that 26,880 for that continuation back towards the upside here as well. So this is what we have for the NQ. If we consolidate right underneath that previous day close, reclaim setup back above this key level here as well, which is going to be that previous day highs. So regardless, we're going to be either looking for longs above our previous day highs or the bounce play off our 26,880, which is essentially our previous day lows in the area that we broke out from yesterday. So that's what we have for the SPY and Qs coming to market open. We do have a bunch of tech names to go over with potential all-time highs plays, but every single day, right, same game plan, look for continuation longs in the markets until we at least lose momentum on the daily time frame or break structure whatsoever. Now let's go on to the SMH. If you guys do have any charts here as well, you guys can drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. See if we can get to 200 likes. And of course, if you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that is in the description below here as well. Okay, let's go on to the SMH. Go into the IWM, and then we'll head on to some tech names. Starting off with the SMH, explosive move towards the upside. We talked about this retest weekly chart, well above our previous all-time highs, bullish on the weekly. Daily chart well above our previous all-time highs, bullish on the daily. Every single dip is being bought up here. As you can see, really solid extension towards the upside. If we go on to the hourly time frame, very bullish as well. To start off this week, right, we had a little bit more consolidation, but broke above our previous day highs, retest of that level, continuation higher. As for the key levels that I have marked out on the SMH coming into market open, what I primarily have is our previous day lows, which, as you can see, nice retest right off that level. So for the SMH, you can see this was our previous day lows. We had multiple touches here. Yesterday, we ended up coming back down, retesting that previous day lows, that previous high that we created here on Tuesday. Nice buyer stepped in here off that 460 and huge move towards the upside coming into yesterday's close. So today, key levels that we are going to have marked out is going to be our previous day highs, which, as you can see, all the way back down in towards our 476. That's going to be the key level that we have marked out. So very similar thing today. As you can see, nice pop here in the after hours. So far, we're basing above that level here in the pre-market. If we do want to see longs, bounce play off our previous day highs is in play for a pushback towards the upside. This is the number one scenario for the semiconductors, is that low risk off our previous day highs. Very similar to yesterday. Another possible scenario is going to be some sort of opening range break for a push up in towards our after hours highs, or of course above our after hours highs for this continuation higher here as well. So you have a couple scenarios. As I mentioned, the best case scenario is going to be that retest here off that previous day highs. In this case, it is our 476. If you go into the IWM, a little bit more consolidation, but this one's setting up fairly nicely. Key level, as I mentioned, is going to be that 277. Reclaim above our 277 is going to be key for a push up in towards. Now it's going to be that all-time highs that we do have. All right, let's go on to a couple names that we do have now. Starting off with Tesla, we did have some Tesla earnings to keep in mind. Let's actually quickly go over this. So Tesla earnings, we originally had a pop and then we ended up fading towards the downside. Let me see if I can get the exact numbers. Tesla reported earnings 41 cents per share above the forecasted 0.37. Generated positive free cash flow in the period. However, revenue of 22 billion, up 16% year to date, fell short consensus of 22.6. So it fell a little bit short on the on the revenue, but it was generating positive cash flow. So we had an original pop towards the upside, and now you can see we're fading lower here now on Tesla. So let's go on to the charts here, starting off on the daily time frame. So for Tesla, we're actually breaking back underneath key levels that we have marked out. So the key level that we have marked out here on Tesla is our 380. So you can see multiple touches here on Tesla. Now we're still technically on the daily time frame. We flipped back bullish here, broke back above that 380, but now we're actually breaking back underneath this 380, and you can see a little bit more weakness here on Tesla. So based off the weekly time frame, I'd say we're more neutral than anything if we're looking at this year in specific. Of course, we are in a downtrend. If we're on the daily chart, right now we were bullish, flipping back above the 380, getting back underneath now. So I'd say more neutral here on the daily chart, leaning slightly bearish. Weekly chart's bullish. And if we look at the hourly time frame now, breaking underneath this key level, which happens to be that 384, showing a little bit more weakness now in the market. So for Tesla, pop up and towards our 407, breaking underneath that 385, and now we're pushing back down in towards that 370. Key levels that we're going to have marked out now is going to be the area that we broke out from, which happens to be that 368. This is a key level here on the higher time frames on Tesla, and then we can also mark out that earnings low. So coming into market open here, really the key levels I'm personally going to have marked out is going to be this earnings low. So we're going to have marked out our previous day lows, which happens to be our 385. And we could also mark out that earnings low, which happens to be our low that we created in the after hours yesterday. So we can mark this out and drag this over 377. If we do want to see some downside, personally for me, I'm going to be a little bit more hands off within the first 15 to 30 minutes here on Tesla. Not really a clear direction after earnings, so we're just going to be a little bit more patient. If we do want to see some downside, there's a couple scenarios that we can be looking for. Pop and fade here off our earnings low 377.50, a push down in towards that 370s in play. If we pop up in towards our previous day lows, this is a potential fade off this level. I wouldn't like this as much. The best case scenario is going to be off this earnings low here on Tesla. As for an earnings reversal play, that is technically in play above our 384. Not expecting this to set up, but this is very much a possibility, or it would be longs off our 368. Usually it doesn't reverse on day number one unless we have some sort of higher time frame thesis. In this case, Tesla is not that bullish on the higher time frames. So Tesla, let's just keep an eye out on our 378 coming into market open. Let's talk about some other names here, starting off with the semiconductors. Semis are very much bullish. SMH leading the markets higher. AMD at all-time highs here as well. Let's talk about Nvidia. Nvidia on a weekly time frame perspective, breaking back above our 196. Now closing above here as well. Daily chart consolidating a little bit more, but this one looks bullish, as you can see, basing above. Not sure what happened to my drawing tool. Basing above our 197. Nice continuation so far. Higher lows are being built. Let's see if we can get that push up and towards this daily gap along with our previous all-time highs. Hourly time frame holding up very nicely so far. Every single dip is being bought up. Higher lows are being built as well. Key levels that I personally have marked out here on Nvidia. What we can have marked out now is just going to be that previous day highs. Let's drag this over. There's multiple touches right off this level, previous day highs, along with our last week's highs here as well. So for Nvidia, key levels coming to market open is going to be our 202.50. That's going to be the key level that we have to get above. If we do want to see continuation above our 202.50, hold above that level for this continuation up and towards our 203 and above. If we reject off our 202.50, kind of consolidate, build higher lows, reclaim back above, continuation is in play here as well. As you can see, there's multiple touches here off that 202. I don't really want to see Nvidia come back down and towards our 202, but that is, as long as you can maintain above that 202, we are fairly bullish on this one. But we'll keep an eye out on Nvidia. AMD, nice textbook break and retest off our previous day highs yesterday. As you can see, came back down in towards that 288. Nice buyer stepped in, continuation back towards our all-time highs. Key levels for AMD is going to be that previous day highs as well today, 304. We can also mark out that pre-market low level here as well. Longs are in play above our 304. We could be looking for a pre-market low bounce here as well for continuation higher. But in this case, higher time frames bullish, intraday bullish here as well. Keep an eye out on AMD continuation for a push up and towards our previous day highs and above. If you can get that dip down in towards your pre-market lows, potential dip and rip here on AMD. But keep an eye out on 304 along with our 298. Apple, something to keep an eye out for. This one's holding up fairly nicely now. Daily chart shaping up as well. Down close candles are being bought up. As for Apple, if we go on to the lower time frames, the key levels that we have marked out is going to be our 272. Other levels that we can have marked out here now as well is going to be our high that we created here last week. Sorry, this is our Monday's highs. So this is our high that we created here for this week, which is our 274. And we also have our 272. Apple longs in play above 274. If we pull back, we can be looking for the bounce play here off our 272 for a continuation higher here as well. Sorry, I didn't realize my screen was not adjusted. Should be good here. Okay, as for a couple other tickers, let's talk about Google. Google's one of my favorite watches coming into market open. Let's keep an eye out on Google coming into today. As you can see, nice push towards the upside, a little bit more consolidation. We do have all-time highs. That's going to be the next main target. So for Google, let's keep an eye out on the break above our previous day highs. If you look at this on the hourly time frame, you can see nice consolidation, trade towards the upside, consolidation here now. Let's see if we can get that next leg towards the upside here on Google. So key levels that I personally have marked out is our 335. Nice base break back above, continuation towards the upside yesterday, holding here in the pre-market so far. If we do want to see Google continuation, key levels that I do have marked out personally is going to be our 335. We can be looking for longs above 335. We can be looking for the pullback down and towards our, sorry, this is our 335. We have our 337 or longs above 340 for continuation higher here as well. Regardless, I do like Google on the higher time frames. We'll see if we have some continuation today, but this one is setting up nicely. As for Microsoft, this one, nice push towards the upside yesterday above our previous day high. So nice breaking retest on Microsoft above our previous day highs, trade up in towards that 430. We did have some news in the after hours. I'm not sure exactly what the news is, but a little bit of rejections here. I think it probably had to do with Tesla or something else. And then, of course, we had actually a couple names drop yesterday in the after hours. And then for Microsoft today, breaking back underneath our previous day lows, I would be a little bit more cautious on Microsoft. If you still want to see some upside, reclaim back above our 427 here is in play. Now, technically, shorts are in play here. Rejection off that 427. You can see your previous day lows here and below. We also did just have the unemployment claims here as well. Forecasted 211, actual 214 came in a little bit higher than expected, but not by a lot. Not expected to affect the market here, as you can see. Let's go on to Meta. Meta on the higher time frames. This one's right into a key level support. Let's see if Meta can see some buyers step in here off that 667, reclaim back above our 680 is going to be key for any sort of upside on Meta. Other key levels that we have marked out here as well is going to be that 664 bounce play here off that level, continuation back towards the highs. And then Amazon. So Amazon, along with Google, we do have an all-time highs thesis coming into market open. So let's keep an eye out on Amazon coming into today. As you can see, nice trade towards the upside, creating this daily flag pattern. Now let's see if we can get that push up and towards our all-time highs. Key levels that we have coming into Amazon today is going to be our 256. So as you can see, higher lows are being built on Amazon. We have our clear level being that previous day highs. Let's actually just get rid of this and readjust that level. So right here, what we have is our previous day highs. We also have multiple touches from earlier in the week here as well, forming this flat top break here on Amazon. Amazon's going to be one of my main watches for a push up and towards our all-time highs here today, which is fairly close by, right? 258 along with our 260. So Amazon top watch today above, longs above 256, continuation up and towards our all-time highs here and above. So let's keep an eye out on Amazon above our previous day highs. Google looks good here as well. Amazon looks good above that level. As for Netflix, recently had earnings last week, dropped towards the downside. A little bit of a pop here. Key level of support, as I talked about, is going to be that full daily gap. Not quite came down in towards that full daily gap, but you can see some buyers stepping in here in the pre-market. Key levels that we do have marked out is going to be that 94 previous day highs, potential hold above our previous day highs, push back up and towards our 95.50 here on Amazon. Okay. That's what we have on the tech side coming into today. As I mentioned, my favorite name is going to be Amazon all-time highs play. We can keep an eye out on Google here as well. AMD is obviously already at all-time highs, so you can be looking for just a continuation trade on this one. If we're looking at this week's price action, AMD has been very much bullish. We can expect some continuation towards the upside today. As for NVIDIA, this is something we can keep an eye out for as well. Previous day highs, we can actually, let's just readjust this level. Previous day highs, 202.50, continuation above that for a push towards the upside here as well. So a couple names that we can keep an eye out for, Semi still, plus Google and Amazon. Apple, we can keep an eye out on this ticker above our previous day highs here as well. Now let's go on to a few other names. We'll head on to some tickers here. We'll go over some tickers for the next 5 to 10 minutes. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I appreciate if you guys drop a like. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. All right, let's start off on Palantir. So Palantir, as you can see, reclaiming back above a key level that we have marked out, which happens to be our previous high that we created here. This is a retest yesterday once we reclaimed, nice push higher. Now for Palantir, maintain above 150, push back towards the upside is going to be key for continuation. So let's keep an eye on Palantir 150 coming to market open. AVGO was one of the names I talked about for an all-time highs play. So hopefully you guys are able to either capture one of this one. Right, nice kind of push up and towards our all-time highs. This one, once it broke above our previous day highs in the pre-market, that was key. As you can see, already above our previous day highs here in the pre-market. Nice continuation here on AVGO for an all-time highs move. Key levels that you're going to have marked down now is going to be that previous day highs once again, 422. Above 422, continuation here on AVGO. If we come back down and towards that pre-market lows, right, base, and then break back above 422, continuation is in play here as well. Oracle, I think, does have earnings coming up fairly soon. This one just kind of basing right at a key level 184 here, which is a key level based off the higher time frames. So if you do want to see Oracle continuation, we need it back above this 184. So reclaim back above is key on Oracle. Let's talk about MU here. MU all-time highs play. We talked about this one yesterday here as well, basing above our previous all-time highs, creating this flag pattern, nice break towards the upside here on MU. This is the one that I personally traded yesterday for an all-time highs play. Now the key levels coming into market open is going to be this previous all-time highs. So we can mark this out, drag this over, and the key levels for today here on MU is going to be our previous day highs, which we can have marked out. And we can also mark out our previous all-time highs, 476, which as you can see, there's a couple touches here in the pre-market along with yesterday. So for MU, as long as we maintain above 476, continuation towards the upside. Above our previous highs, we can see this push higher here as well. SNDK, we talked about this one, which was the break above our 940. Happened later into the session, but finally consolidation, break back above. We talked about this move back up in towards our 990, right? 970 along with our 990. Did I freeze? We should be good. Doesn't seem like my frame's dropped here. If there is any issues with, of course, the stream, you can refresh the stream or restart the YouTube link and it should be set. As for SNDK, this one came up in towards our key levels, a little bit of seller stepping in. If we do want to see some upside, back above our pre-market highs, really for continuation here, are now above our previous day highs. This is a little bit of a bigger level that I do have marked out, but for SNDK, you can just mark out this level right here. 990 is going to be key, right? Above our pre-market highs, another trade back up and towards 990s. So keep an eye on SNDK. Higher time frame is still very much intact, weekly, daily, and now the hourly breaking back above here as well. Intel does have earnings tonight, so we're going to be a little bit more cautious on this one. We're just going to wait for an after earnings play. That's going to give us a little bit more guidance here as well on a lot of the semiconductors, but Intel, nice little pop here in the after hours. Now what we like to see is right, kind of this level hold 65 for continuation towards upside. Potentially could break before earnings, but we do have earnings tonight, so right, we're just going to be waiting for earnings tonight here on Intel. As for a couple other names, right, TSM, nice pushback towards our all-time highs. This one should hit our all-time highs here today, 390. So an all-time highs play here on TSM. You can keep an eye out on our 380 hold for this pushback up and towards our 400. I do like TSM here, right? Maintain above our previous 380 key level, flip back above for continuation higher. Hood, kind of just basing here, at least this week so far. Not really too much to talk about on this ticker. If you do want to see some upside, back above our 88 is going to be key, right? SoFi, similar thing, kind of forming this higher time frame flag pattern. So keep an eye on, right, Hood, SoFi for that next leg towards the upside here. Other names that had pretty big moves, right? OKLO, nice move yesterday. Bigger move here in the pre-market as well, kind of basing above our 60 key psych. And I can see pretty explosive move actually within the last few hours. So well above our previous day highs here now. Key level is going to be that 73 key psych. And yeah, Marvel continue to push towards the upside here. So coming into today, right, what I like to see is right? Really spine cues, the reaction that we have off our previous day highs, 655 here, SPY, little bit of reaction here. Key level is going to be that 710 along with our previous high that we created last week. And then, of course, the SMH is still very much bullish. So, main watches coming into today is going to be NVIDIA above our previous day highs, AMD for continuation, of course, Google, one of my favorites for a push up and towards our all time highs. Similar thing here with Amazon as well. Amazon's going to be one of my main watches to keep an eye out for right off the bat with an all time highs thesis. And then for the rest of the tickers, right, it's just continuation trades. So AVGO hit all-time high, so you can expect continuation on this one. If you got a position yesterday, you can look for continuation this morning, right? Oracle, this one lagging behind just a little bit, but key level 184. MU, right, continuation on this one, and then SNDK, similar thing on a lot of these semis. And then you can keep an eye on if you even want to, right? WDC, TSM for continuation. So there's a couple names to keep an eye out for, of course the semis as per usual, along with some memory names. And then, as I mentioned, right, NVIDIA, AMD, Google, and Amazon are on watch. So anything that hasn't hit all-time highs, we are going to be looking for that all-time highs play, especially with the spine cues already being at all-time highs. We're well above that level. Now we're going to be looking for any tech name that's setting up very nicely on the daily chart for that all-time highs push. But yeah, that is going to be it for me today. I'm going to call it a day here. So hopefully you guys did enjoy that. If you did, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below. I'm actually going to be away tomorrow, so no pre-market prep, but I will have a pre-recorded video for you guys. So if you guys do join the free watch list, I'll post the pre-market game plan there for you guys in the morning. But yeah, that's going to be it for me today, and I will see you guys all not tomorrow, but I'll see you guys all next week for the pre-market live stream. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.